Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of G-Bear Homesteading the Desert. We're looking at my computer monitor here, and I want to give a shout out to my friends over at Out West Homestead. So, any of my followers are interested, go over and check them out. They've got some pretty interesting stuff on there. Loads of animals, lots of horseback riding, horses that just show up out of nowhere, mules, you name it. They've got it there. It's really an interesting channel to watch. And I think you'll enjoy it. I just gave them the thumbs up on this one. This was posted today, October 30th. And I gave them the 30th thumbs up. Hey, that might be good luck. What we want to do is help them along. They're at 904 here, and they're shooting for the 1,000, that magical 1,000 subscribers that allows them to monetize their videos. So we need to get them 96 more people on there. And when you click subscribe on their channel, I'm subscribed, that's why it says subscribed. Also click the bell, and that'll give you notifications when they post new videos. And you can do that on my channel too. So I wanted to get that out to you as a starter today. Good job over there, my friends, and great videos. Keep them up. All right, let's move on down the line. I'm making some Portuguese soup here. It's kale soup, or as the Portuguese call it, Kaldine. And I just put the kale in, and it's got pork meat and Portuguese sausage, spicy Portuguese sausage, and potatoes, and great northern beans, and split peas. It's just packed with stuff, and it's usually best that when it sits overnight, and the next day when you reheat it, it gets a little bit thicker, and that's when it really has all the flavor. But I'm going to have a bowl tonight. I'm making that so when my friends come out tomorrow to visit, I can send them home with some, because Andy's mom really loves this, and God bless her, she could sit back and enjoy a nice hot meal. And wow, I wish you guys had smell-o-vision, because that really smells good. All right, the next thing was, what you're looking at here, this is an old camp toaster that I bought years ago to go camping with. And you're supposed to put it over a flame. Let's see if I turn the flame on here. You see the flame there. And then you put your bread. You can put 4 slices on here. And what I found over the years was all this thing does before it cooks the toast was dry them out. But me being the type of person I am, I wasn't going to settle that. So what I found was, you put your slices of bread on there, and you put this over the top like that. And that keeps the heat in, so it doesn't just dry the bread out. And it keeps the moisture in, so the bread stays a little bit moist. I can toast 4 slices in there. And an added feature of that is that in the morning, when I'm making breakfast and I make my toast on there, that extra burner on there warms the cabin up. So that's pretty cool. Just a little tip there, that in case any of you have one of these and you put it aside because it always dried your toast out, try that little trick with putting a pan over the top. And you want to use a pan cover that's larger than the base of this thing. You want it to overhang a little bit on the sides. So that's all there is to it. And also be careful when you're taking that pan cover off to get your toast out from underneath, because it will be hot. And I don't want to burn anybody burning themselves. All right, that's about it for the inside here. Oh, no, wait a minute. There's my homemade kitchen table. I brought that in. I actually got that top from my friend Vince, and that's exactly the size I wanted. And it was amazing. He says, hey, I've got this thing over here. It used to be a computer table. Will this work for you? And I took the measurements on it. I said, oh my God, that's exactly the size I wanted. It fits perfectly right there under the window. So I attached a 4x4 to it with a 2x8 plate fastened to that. And for right now, I just used 4 metal leg brackets. I'm going to make some wood corbel legs for this in the future. But for right now, this works, and it makes having a place to sit down and eat comfortably a pleasure. And I really am starting to feel like I've got a home here and not in a one-room cabin anymore. So I can't use one-room cabin in my channel tags anymore as a search engine part. But oh well, it's nice. And one other thing here, you see here the oregano. Okay, this is like 90 cents a bag for oregano, and you say, well, what do you need that for? Don't you grow your? Yeah, I grow oregano, and I use that for cooking and doing my Italian sauces and soups and stews and things like that. But what I use this oregano for is a natural antibiotic for the chickens. So what I'll do with that is I'll put it into a pan or a can or something like that, and I'll soak it with water and let it just sit there and absorb water. And then when I go out and I put a fresh batch of feed in their feeder, their open air feeder, I'll put that on top of it. And they go nuts for it. They eat it all up. And it's a natural antibiotic. So it helps fight off any diseases or anything that might come around. So instead of giving chemical antibiotics to your chickens, go the natural way. Use oregano. And you can use parsley, and a lot of the other herbs are great for chickens. When I'm in the store and I see a parsley on sale for a couple of pennies a bunch, well, I'll grab a couple of bunches of that and I'll give them fresh parsley. I'm also growing it in my garden house. And I'll be getting back to the garden house soon. Forever North wanted to see how things were going down there. I've been neglecting a little bit, but it's doing fine, and we're coming into the winter months. But a lot of my fruit trees still have leaves on them because we haven't had any frost yet. And those trees are do well out here in the desert. Close by here is what they call Apple Valley, and they grow a lot of apples there. Well, I've got apple trees that are still full of greenery and stuff. I've eaten my cucumbers, and I've eaten one of the cantaloupe that I had out there. The other one is still hanging there. The one outside the cage is still hanging. Nobody's touched it yet, so that was interesting. Amazing that none of the critters got to it. Maybe they don't know what it is, but or they just figured they can't get in that cage, so they just quit going over there. All right, that's all of that. Out here on the porch, you remember this little temporary table I had hooked to the back of the headboard of the bed so that if I had company, there was a place where 2 people could sit down and eat. Well, I reused it out here by fastening it up underneath the window here. And if I have a bunch of people on the porch, I need to get it down out of the way, I can fold it down just like I did on the back of the bed and get it out of the way. But it also works out great for some plants on here that I'm sprouting some onion, and the celery I don't think is going to make it. It got too hot for the celery in the kitchen window, and I didn't have time to move it, but there might be a little life left in that, so I'm going to let's see if it sprouts again out here. My tomatoes and everything inside the garden shed over there, oh, they're doing great. I mean, lots of nice big buds on them. They're just loving this kind of weather. But we'll see if I get any tomatoes. There's a lot of buds on there, but I haven't seen any tomatoes set yet. All right, I'll be moving all of this stuff out of here. This little blue container, 5-gallon container, I've had that for years. I had 2 of them. And this one finally has got a little crack in that upper corner right about there. And it started leaking. So I've got a tool that's called a plastic welder, and it uses hot air and plastic welding rods and electricity to, you got to hook it up to an air compressor and use very low air pressure on it. and you can weld plastic with it. I've used it before. I've repaired plastic trash cans and trash covers and things like that with it. So I'm going to try welding that corner and see if I can get some more use out of it. Right now, that's actually full of water, and I had to lay it with that corner high in the air so that the water wouldn't leak out of it. These two are full. This one down here is full. All of those are down there are full, and that one I drained 1/3 of it off to water the garden today. So I'll be taking one of these down over there and refilling that one. That's about all I can say for today. I did have a dog come by the other day and got into my heap over there of rocks and hardware and metal and things that I picked up around the desert while riding on the ATV. And I had a number 10 can over there, and I had a dried out coyote skull, I think it was, inside that can. Well, that dog went over and pulled that skull out and then took off running down there. And I tried calling it over. I was going to give it water and some food, but it wouldn't even pay attention to me. It completely ignored me, just grabbed what it wanted and took off. So I think it's completely a wild dog now. It's not used to humans, and it's not going to pay attention to them. Sad. That's about it. The girls are doing their last walk around out in the yard there, and now that the sun is off of the main run, and they'll be heading up the ramp pretty soon to go to bed. They gave me 8 eggs this morning, so I've got those inside the cabin ready to go. Oh yeah, look at my aloe vera. They're just coming up like crazy. I got that one, and I got this one, and I got some purslane. This purslane, as I was explaining to one of my neighbors, Letty, you can break off a branch of that, stick it in the soil and water it, and it'll grow. So that's I've got it growing in every pot that I have out in the garden shed. So the chickens love it, I love it, and it's healthy. It's one of the healthiest plants you'll ever eat. So if you got purslane going around, go ahead and try it sometime. It's got a good flavor. It's good in salads, soups, stews, all that stuff. That's all. G-Bear signing off. After I tell you, don't forget, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. And I won't be videotaping tomorrow because it's my birthday. I've got company coming, and we're going to take the day and just relax and BS and do things like that. I'll get up early and do all my chores, so when they get here around noontime, I made homemade meatballs and homemade spaghetti sauce, and we're gonna have marinara sauce, and we're gonna have meatball marinara sandwiches in hoagie rolls for lunch, and then of course that Portuguese soup that's in there, I'll send that home with them so they have something to eat when they get home. So they get, on my birthday, they get free lunch and free dinner. How do you like that? All right. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Also, don't forget, go to West Homestead and check them out. I think you'll enjoy some of their videos, some of the rides they take and all of the work they do and all of the plants they've got growing. Wow, just totally amazing. G-Bear signing off.